Hey, hello everybody. Welcome to Ropeadope TV. We're back here in East Philly. It's winter in East Philly. We're cold in the fake office. And we have another very special guest, Mr. Jonathan Scales. Welcome.
Sir.
Good to have you back.
Glad to be here.
Good, good. You're on the road, and we just snagged you in between shows.
Yes. So right now we're on like a maybe like a 11-day tour on the Northeast.
You did like Baltimore?
Yeah.
Baltimore?
Richmond, Philly, Pittsburgh.
So you're headed west
Yeah.
today into the...
Yeah, but then we're headed back up like Syracuse and Vermont. And,
Good.
yeah.
Good. So the beginning of the tour.
This is the beginning.
One of the things I start with on the show is how we met. This is always an interesting connection that comes up. But do you remember first, like how we started and got in touch with each other?
Yeah, I want to hear your
My
version.
version.
Yeah, I want to hear your
Okay.
version.
All right. You want me to start with the email?
Yeah.
We'll start with the email. So it's no secret that my life was busy. Basically, juggling, and somebody slipped a unicycle under me, all the time. So I'm always trying to keep this label moving, and it's been a really challenging time in the business. So that's my disclaimer I'm gonna throw out there first. So I got an email directly from you. Oh no, from a management company.
Allison.
Yeah. Okay. And it's good that you threw this back to me, because it's one of the things that I did want to talk today. I was thinking about us talking to each other. So, for those that don't know, Jonathan plays the steel pan. Do we just call it pan, or do we call it steel pan?
Either one.
Either one's good. Okay, good. So, when the music came in to my email, it was I don't know what to do with that. Because I'm not familiar. And I'm pretty unfamiliar with music in general, but particularly steel pan. I think a lot of people, and hopefully people will watch this and get this, understand this. We had a predisposed understanding or idea of what steel pan was, based on like 70s.
Yeah, it's based on like what you see with the movies and.
Right, the Harry Belafonte, and from there, is that right? Like that whole go to the islands and be welcomed when you come off the plane.
I mean, that's how Americans, and that's how the world viewed it from that point.
Right. So I hear that, and so I have two things that I'm trying to put together. I really enjoyed the music, but I don't think I got back to you. I was busy working records, and it was in the inbox, and it was kind of one of those things where like, well, I guess that's just gone, because I didn't have time to get back to it.
Right.
And then, did you email me again? Or did I finally reply to you? I don't remember, but it had to be months.
You finally replied.
Was it months?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
I'm really sorry. And to anyone else out there, that's the situation. Try to keep up, and I try to answer. But here's the thing: it sits in my inbox if it's not a no. Like it's a maybe, and I'm like, okay, I got to get back to that. So yeah, I got back to you months later, and to my delight, you were still interested. So then we started a conversation about putting out. It's this record, right?
Yes, the self-titled record.
It's
Jonathan Scales Fourchestra.
It's printed backwards. Jonathan Scales Fourchestra, featuring Victor Wooten and Howard Levy.
Yeah.
So that was it. Then we put the record out, and then we met though. Like that's I don't even remember. Was it you came up on tour? Or?
Yeah, we're passing through, and I think you organized like a cookout at your house.
Oh yes, I had moved into a new place in Haddon Heights, Haddon Township, New Jersey, which I affectionately refer to as the Haddon Riviera, which it really isn't, but and so we had this old funky farmhouse with an old workshop garage in the back and this little area, and I thought, well, let's have a party, and you were gracious enough to swing by.
You invited your friends.
Put the pans up in the backyard. Go ahead.
Yeah, you invited your friends, and we played a show
in the backyard. That was a great day. That was fun. Yeah. We got to do that again. Who else was down there? I think Matt Caffey was over that day, and Abe Speller.
Yeah, I remember Abe.
He's got some stories of touring back in the day. Abe
yeah.
Speller's an East Philly native, but who did he play with? He's a drummer, right?
Yeah, I don't remember. He has some stories though.
Yeah, great guy. A classic '60s bohemian kind of dude. But that was a good day. And you were with Cody and Phil?
Yeah, the early days. Cody and Phil. And
Cody Wright, Phil Bronson.
Yeah, Cody Wright, Phil Bronson. Drummer or bassist and drummer extraordinaire, respectively. Yeah,
and together, the three of you make up the Fourchestra, which I really like. Just to stop, to tell people, go back, dig back through Jonathan Scales on the Bandcamp page, or on iTunes, or on Spotify, wherever it is you get your music, and find this record. You know, I've played it so many times, it's really exciting. And it kind of leads into, I mean, I guess part of this is we have a predisposed notion of what the steel pan is, and you have a different idea. But at first it seems like it's just you versus the public. But as it unfolds, I understand that you're not alone. There are many people that... Can you describe how you view the steel pan in the context of jazz, I guess is the question.
Well, for one, I'm kind of a weird person. So, like, my answer is just my answer. It's no reflection on the community.
Doesn't represent
it doesn't necessarily reflect the views of anyone else. But I will say that, you know, people, especially in the States, have a very particular view of the steel pan that they associate with their honeymoons and being at hotel resorts and things like that.
Like a celebratory, happy kind of music.
Yeah, but like,
limited.
You know, like once you like dig deep into like the music of Trinidad and see the roots and where the instrument comes from, it's not necessarily all sunshine and rainbows. You know. And then
I do, but I learned it. I want to say something about that, but go ahead.
Yeah, but you know, that aside, the steel pan, like when the instrument was being created, in a lot of ways, they wanted to have their culture represented, just as you know the orchestras and symphonies of Europe have their instruments, their violins, their cellos, their pianos. You know, so there's always been this constant fight to legitimize.
Can I comment on that?
Sure.
Sorry, I'm jumping in, but just to put it in context for people, because I've learned, starting with you and then moving on to other panists, Leon Foster Thomas, Akinola Senon, learned a little bit more about the history, and the instrument really arises post-slavery, does it not? And becomes an instrument of members of the African diaspora.
Well, I would say like it was like the 40s, like 40s, 50s. So it was like colonial.
Post-colonial. There it is. That's a better way to put it.
Like British rule.
Right.
Kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So sorry, I wanted to clarify that. That's where the pan comes from.
Yeah,
it's
because
fascinating stuff to dig into.
Yeah, there was a ban on musical instruments. You know, like the traditional African instruments, drums and things like that. You know, under British rule, they didn't want, you know, they probably didn't want people to communicate in that way and come together in that way. So there was a ban on instruments, and you know, people started to come together. And you know, to make a long story short, the steel pan was born out of that.
And so, go back to what you're saying about it as a competition or a model of European symphonies. So in Trinidad, there are huge.
Yeah. So in Trinidad, there's the steel orchestra. So just like in a traditional symphony, you have your violins, violas, cello, bass, you know, things like that. In the steel band, you have your tenor pan, which is actually the highest voice. Whenever you see someone with one drum, you have a tenor pan. You have double tenor, you have double seconds. That's what I play. I play double seconds, which is kind of like the alto voice.
Wow. Okay.
And then you have cellos, which is 3 drums, and you have guitars, which are also 3 drums that do kind of like strumming patterns. And then you have basses that play the bass role, just like you have the bass in the symphony. So it's very parallel. But what I was gonna say is, in terms of like my view on it, coming from my own angle, is you know, I was a saxophone player first, and then I came into the game late as like a 17, going on 18-year-old in college. And so I didn't necessarily have the same background as someone who was born and raised in Trinidad. So I instantly came at it from a different angle, because I was someone who came to school to study modern composition. And so like when I started writing the music that I write on steel pan, I wasn't thinking anything weird of it. I was thinking, hey, this is
what you do.
Yeah, this is a great. I love this instrument. I have fun playing it. This is the music that comes out of me, and this is the instrument that I want to play. You put those together, and then that's my music that I'm making. So
when did you know?
When did I know?
When you're like, it's the steel pan.
Okay. Oh, instantly. Like, so 17 years old, I got to college. Like a week before school, my friends were like, "Hey, you should try out for the steel band. There's a like a great 20-piece steel orchestra, and we get to get out of class and like do little tours, and you should try out." And I was thinking, man, no. No, I was like, I just got to school.
Confusing to me, yes.
Yeah, I was like, I just got to school to be a composer, and I'm not trying to pick up a new instrument the week before school starts.
Wow.
I'm gonna just stay focused on what I'm here to do. But then I end up trying out anyway, and I made it. They gave you like 4 pieces of music to learn, and they give you the key to the practice room, and I spent a week just learning this music, figuring out where the notes are. Okay, D, all right, F sharp, all right, Yeah, so the music, when I started writing my own music for steel pan, because I was already there to be a composer anyway, when I started taking that stuff and putting it on pan, to me I was just doing my thing.
Right. It felt perfectly natural to you.
It felt natural to me, and it wasn't until people...
Because you didn't have any preconceived notions of what it was supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean...
Like others might.
Right, well, I knew what it was. I knew the preconceived notions, but like they weren't necessarily in me. Right. Like I knew that's what people thought, but I didn't think anything of it for me to put my music in that context. And it wasn't until like, just maybe like a few months of doing that people were kind of telling me, man, this is different. This is, and
unique.
Yeah, and I still didn't think anything of it. And I've come to this point where I thought about this a lot. And my whole thing is I kind of stay in this middle neutral ground of like, I just put out the music that I feel. And the way that people interpret it from there
is up to them.
It's up to them, and it's great. But, because a lot of people ask me, like, when did you decide to take the steel pan in a new direction? And that's not
right. Right.
So, like, that's where it gets confusing.
And it's like, a hot issue, isn't it?
It can
because it's such a national
it's the national
instrument. And people are learning this. There is an entire structure.
And there's people who don't support me really because it's not because I don't play traditionally, and there's people who do support me because I play the national instrument, but they might not necessarily like what I do, so they wish that I did more traditional things. Like they appreciate like me as a performer, me as an artist, but there's people who wish that I would do more traditional things, and then there's people who say, I think that's really cool, the direction that you're taking it. Let me rephrase that. That's what they say. I don't feel like I'm taking it in any direction. I feel like I'm just doing what I do.
They're attributing it to you, but you're just doing it then.
I'm just doing my thing, and like if that's a byproduct, then that's cool. And if it's not a byproduct of me doing my thing, then that's cool too.
Got it.
I try to stay in this middle, just like push forward and focus on your own work kind of thing.
Yeah, that's amazing, and I want to add I want to throw 2 things in there. So first is, having known you for several years, that story makes incredible sense to me because you study languages. You have an interesting way of digging in and being like, I don't want to call it traditional, but just like, persevere on the path of, I'm going to learn this and I'm going to be very meticulous about it. And then you have moments of I'm just going to jump over here and try something different. So you seem to balance between this too. So it makes perfect sense to me that story and how you got there. The second thing, though, that comes to mind is that this is an issue today in the world of the challenge between traditional, it probably always has been, but it seems like it's really coming out now, of like what's traditional and what's global. You know, how do you learn from other cultures, and how do you take something past where it was?
Without being like appropriation.
Find that balance, right? And appropriation is another part of that as well. But that's the reason I wanted to comment on that, is because Ropeadope, intentionally or not, has kind of been that spot. It's pretty much unintentional. I think there are a lot of traditional labels. This is the way the music looks and sounds, and this is the market that we're in. And then you come along with something like the project that you had, and people are going to be like, I don't know what to do with that. So people call Ropeadope, and so we struggle with that balance as well. As to, I don't know that we're struggling. We're just never really accepted as traditional. But I want to say that personally, and everyone who's in the family, I think, has tremendous respect for the traditional, but a desire to do their own thing.
To kind of push the boundaries. To
do their thing.
And for me, if I could speak for everyone,
I just did. Let's do it.
Like, I feel like, especially people that are on Ropeadope, I feel like it's not even that they have the desire to push the boundary. I think that they just happen to naturally be pushing the boundary. Amen. I feel like there's like a difference between that, because
it's what speaks to them.
Some people try to push the boundary and it just comes across like contrived, or like they're trying to do something. You know what I mean? As opposed to like,
that's why you're saying I didn't take it here. This is just what.
This is just what I do.
What I hear, what I feel, what I do.
Yeah, and if it's perceived as pushing the boundary, like whether you perceive it as pushing the boundary or not, it still is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, so I feel like the people that are, on this label, some of my favorite, too many to name right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of titles
looking at the
on
records
that wall. Yeah, they're all my favorite.
Yeah, but I feel like, the boundary pushing thing is more like a subconscious thing, as opposed to like waking up one morning and say, you know what, I'm gonna revolutionize the way that people view this.
Right, this whole thing is bullshit. Let me do something different.
Yeah.
No, I think it's what. Yeah, I agree. And thanks for bringing that up. I think, and for doing it and being part of that. Because that's so it does. I wonder what the ultimate balance between tradition and exploration in music and in every other way is. Because sometimes tradition is a good, solid thing. And sometimes tradition has been formed under circumstances that are less than desirable. In this case, colonialism. So I feel like we're in this really exciting time for members of the African diaspora who have endured and lived under these kind of conditions for so long, creatively. And I think Akinola sent on from Trinidad is talking about similar things, about how do these instruments come about, how does creative expression come about, right? in a repressive, which is a light way to say it, scenario.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too far into that. That's not the point. The point is how is all this amazing, or in what form is all this amazing creativity coming out under those circumstances, and then how does that relate back to tradition? But I can get philosophical. So
that's a whole other.
Yeah. So what's it like? I mean, touring, managing your own business, being an independent artist. Are you finding some balance? Are you still
it's pretty overwhelming.
Excited about it?
I am still excited about it. There's phases where, like at this point, like 10 years into it, I started the Fourchestra in 2007, so it's been 10 years, and I feel like I've been going pretty hard at it for 10 years. So like, I have my days, especially when I'm off the road, where I'm just like, I'm tired, I don't want to do anything. Like everyone has those kind of days. And then now that I'm on the road right now, like, this is a maybe 11, 12-day run, and then I go to Asia for like 35 days or something.
Fantastic.
Like straight,
Yeah.
you know, back to back. So it's like the whole thing, like a 6, 7.5 week run.
Wow.
And this is like the 4th day. But I'm not even like, you know, I feel lucky to be doing it and can't complain. And
is there one thing like when you're on the road and doing what you do where you go, oh, right, yeah, that's exactly why I'm doing all this. Like,
yes.
What's the most consistent thing that brings it back to you and makes you check off that thing for yourself? Yes, I'm going to keep doing this.
For me personally, I would have to say it's when people feel like people come to me and tell me that like they were inspired to do their own thing. You know what I mean? Like
you see the momentum.
Yeah, like I was in Trinidad doing a clinic, and there was a student who raised his hand, not with a question, but they just wanted to tell me that like they've been following me for a while, and that like, you know, they've been afraid to, you know, maybe step over some lines artistically, and they see me as someone who just does whatever I want to do. Which I mean,
certain freedom. Yeah.
I just so happen to be just doing what I want to do. You know, I didn't wake up one day and say I'm gonna just, you know, destroy the foundations of.
Do you ever question it? You're just like, why the hell am I doing this? what? Like, how did I get here?
Not really.
No.
Not really, because at a certain point, like, you can't, like, looking back does nothing.
Right.
You know, I mean, reflection, like looking back to reflect is good, but looking back, seeing what could have been differently or what could have been done differently or changed is almost, I mean, it is pointless in a lot of ways. I mean, there's things you can learn from it going forward.
Right.
But at the same time, like, in doing that, I don't, like, question the mission.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even
I do. Yeah. I mean, I'm different. I think that music is a higher calling, and I think that a lot of musicians would answer that in a similar way. That you know, don't look back. I'm just winging it. Like I'm a business guy, right? So I'm just winging it. But I do wake up and go, what? How did I get here? Why do I keep doing this? You know?
I mean, there's definitely times like, I mean, there are times where, like, for example, I played a show in Dallas, I want to say 2015, where it was the worst deal. Like, it was the worst deal business-wise. I don't know if I can cuss on this thing. I'm not going to.
Yeah, you can cuss.
It was a pretty shitty deal.
Shitty.
Yeah, it sucked. But it was part of the just like the road life grind type thing. And at the end of the night, the guy was like, we had people come out and see us and everything. At the end of the night, the promoter was like, hey, you know, no one came to see you guys, so I'm not really giving you money, but, you know, just because you come this way, I'll give you $20. Which is crazy because it was like a Pole's door situation where like they ask you who you're here to see. I made it a point to tell everyone, like, hey, make sure that you're say that you're here to see the Fourchestra, just so we can go through this process. And, you know, my friends did, and like my friends and the fans, the Dallas people came out. And at the end of the night, there was some miscommunication, and the guy who pays us versus the guy who checked the names. Yeah,
miscommunication.
It's miscommunication.
We can probably give this guy $20 and he'll walk away.
So like, there's times like that that are supposed to make me feel like, what the hell am I doing in my life?
Right.
But somehow, even within that, I'm able to like compartmentalize that and see that as like an isolated incident and like not make or break the whole situation. So like,
it's an incredible skill.
There's times when things like that happen where you just have to realize, all right. And then like a couple weeks later, we're playing like Telluride Jazz Festival. So like I'm lucky enough to be in the position now that like even when something happens that wouldn't make me feel like, why am I doing this? I'm only like a couple weeks away from something that's
going to be better.
That's something that's like just an incredible.
That's an incredible skill, life skill right there. Yeah, I you know, I respect that. I go up and down and up and down. I just you know, I just get up every morning and keep doing it. That's what. Yeah.
I'm an optimist.
5. Thank you. Yeah, that was supposed to be a hand signal. That wasn't supposed to be on, but that's how good I am at my job. Got it. Thank you. So, you know, as a label guy, I got to ask you, any plans for recording new music? Again, do you want to say that on
Sure.
local TV?
Yeah, I have recording, or I have a plan of recording hopefully this year. I'm working on some new music. I have a couple tunes that have been road tested already that will be on there. And I am, you know, in the process of doing this tour in Asia and coming back home. Hopefully between that time, I'll have enough time to like really get everything all together. But I think that I can say confidently that like I plan on Sput being involved.
Excellent.
In some form or fashion.
Beautiful.
Hopefully
thing.
as a producer, you know, there might be several other drummers involved as well, because it's kind of like a, you know, it's like a whole family thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where like, you know, Sput is, you know, he's friends with Sharik Tucker, who's been on the road with me a lot, and so like trying to find that balance of, you know, playing with the people that are heroes to me and who I want to collaborate with versus people who have been like road testing this music with me.
Right.
You know, just find that balance. But
the vibe, the core versus the special guests.
Right.
Is that the idea?
Yeah.
Who's on the road with you right now? We jumped out of this conversation.
So on the road with me right this second is Mono Neon, who, you know, Prince's last bass player, YouTube phenomenon.
YouTube phenomenon as well. Our goal is to have as many subscribers as Mono Neon. So jump over to his page, check out how many there are, and then tell your friends to subscribe to ours. Yeah, that's a shameless plug. There you go.
Yeah, so Mono Neon's on the road with me right now, and Sharik Tucker, who is a beastly, phenomenal, insane drummer. He kind of came into the big limelight by winning the Guitar Center Drum Off thing like a couple years ago, and then from there it's just, you know, everybody loves him.
Cool. And that's the Fourchestra.
Well, as of last year, as of 2016, the Fourchestra has changed its face completely. So before it was like a solid band unit, and now it's like
a steady band unit.
Yeah, it was a steady band unit, and now it's me, and then whoever I happen to call for the tour, which
I think that's so exciting. It's so exciting.
It is exciting.
It makes every show different.
Yeah.
And it brings and it's collaborative and open. The open source orchestra.
It allows me to work more too, because like, you know, even for these 2 weeks I'm on the road with Mono Neon and Sharik, and then when I go to Asia, I have a whole different turnover of guys.
Nice.
So like no one's getting worn out.
Right. Except you.
Except for me, but that's okay. That's what I signed up for.
Yeah.
But yeah, like last year I played with 10 different drummers and 7 different bass players.
Nice. Well, listen, man, I wish you luck on the road. I would say thanks for taking the time to come in here. I'm looking forward to much, much more, and especially that record. I want to tell people, dig in, go back, johnscales.bandcamp.com? Or what's the URL?
The URL? I don't know the exact URL. I just go
to downloads.ropeadope.com and check artists. Scroll down just a little bit. You'll see Jonathan there, because we've got a bunch of new records queued up right now.
We'll link it in the description of this
video. Find it. Or you can find them on. We will link it. Yeah, but take a listen. Take some time. Listen to it on Spotify. Dig into this music. It's really good. All right. Thanks, man.
Thank you, sir.